Welcome to another episode of What If Civilization Started Over. Last time we had a war happening in New Lime and they took it hard. They lost a lot of land because of that, and it was purely because of an exclave by the country Pink. And today Pink is once again relevant for this episode. But before we do that, let's take a look at the top 10 most strongest countries in the world, the power rankings. Of course, Dark Blue has left it because, well, they were defeated in 2 wars back to back. Well, let's see which countries are now on top. The 10th most powerful country in the world is Purple. They of course have a pretty much amount of land, but they lost of course a portion because of the war with Lavender. But they are still thriving and trying to trade with the neighboring countries, as they have a good portion of their trade going through itself, but also, well, not so much anymore from the other countries, but they are pretty good at maintaining themselves, and they also want to trade with the new country, Pastel Orange, and of course that trade route that we have talked about before is now finally finished. The 9th most powerful country in the world is Orange, as they are now free from Brown, and they are picking up the pieces quickly, and they're trading with every country in the near vicinity, and they're just doing well, nothing to complain about. Number 8 is their neighbor underneath, Magenta. They lost a great portion of land because of this rebel group that popped up because of the science religion war that broke out, but they are trying to get pieces back together, and they are interested in trading with their darker counterpart, Dark Magenta, as they let that part of their country sustain by their own and leave their country. But they are pretty good on their way. Number 7 is Brown. They were pretty high up in the list, and before they were also pretty strong, but they lost Ireland, they lost Denmark, and they lost this country Butter that they recently got to gain. Of course, they had a part of Dark Red that they got, but that did not really help them in their favor. Dark Brown is just a strong country, but because of all the things that just piled up, the Orange War, the Third Great War, and then the countries, and then the part that wanted to break away, that didn't really help them. Number 6 is Grey, a pretty silent country in the series so far, other than their lately gained Greenland province, but they're just good friends with Dark Pink, who is, doing it good enough, and also their southern neighbor Gold, who is 5th in the world. They are pretty good at sustaining Iceland and Greenland, and they are still trading with Brown, but also with Orange, and just other countries in the world. And apparently Bronze did not have a capital. Well, let's give that to them. Number 4 is a pretty good remnant from the Dark Blue country, but Night Blue, as they gained a lot of land by the old Dark Blues, who is sustained enough and thriving enough that there is a lot of power and a great economy there. So Night Blue is 4th in the world, a pretty new country, but they are pretty strong, as we know they can just take Dark Blue fully, and we know they took apart from Neon Lime without hesitating enough, with just a teeny tiny little border right there. They are sneaky, but they are strong. Number 3 is Cyan. Cyan is silently really working to improve their insights, their economy, their people, their military. They are becoming pretty strong, and we know they took a part in the Third Great War to defeat Dark Blue, and they got a few portions because of that. Cyan also took a part in the New Lime War lately, and they just are gaining piece by piece to be a little bit stronger nowadays. And now it's pretty clear that 2 countries are not named yet. Red and Lavender. Well, Red is the second most powerful country in the world. They have gained a lot of land since the Third Great War and annexed completely the Blue country, and are preparing to be maybe in a war with Brown. But they're not yet doing that. They can also just take Butter or Dark Magenta, but they don't really do that as well, as they have a lot of just to take land right here. Red is a really sneaky but a powerful country again since the First Great War. And number 1 is maybe not a guess or a surprise at all. Lavender. Lavender is strong, Lavender is big, Lavender won a great war. Not a great war, but a very impressive war. The War of Lavender. They gained a lot of land from the mints, from the purples, from the dark blues especially, and there was a lot of land to take. It was valuable. They are doing good. And now that we looked at the power rankings, let's take a look at the country Pink. Because Pink is losing a lot of repetition since their rebel group popped up here in their first exclave, but another group that recently want to break away alongside Royal Yellow that now popped up are the same provinces as before. These provinces right here, they also wanted to break away from Pink, who lost Royal Yellow at the same time. They are now pretty tired of being a part of Pink and they want to be a nation of their own. They also heard that surrounding provinces from all the neighboring countries want to join this potentially new country, as there are provinces here on the tip of the other countries that are not really getting attention from the countries as much as they want. For example, this province right here in magenta, not the one with the settlement. Also these two from orange, these two from gold, and weirdly enough, this one from green. Green, of course, is not in the power rankings at all, and they are, although pretty strong for what they are 11th, so barely not in the list. But keep in mind, they can, well, do something in this world. But because of all these provinces want to break away, well, they do. And this is how this mess is looking like right now. Of course, all these countries do respond to this. And the first one that we will take a look at is green. As they see the problem right here, there will be an exclave, and they know that will not be, well, a thing that will happen, because, well, yeah, there, it also happened. And they really want to, well, sustain that province more, now that they know that want to break off, and green is like, well, since the beginning I'm pretty big, I don't really want to lose my potential, so they want to decline that province from breaking away. And what they do, they offer money, they offer even people, and they offer to, well, build up the settlement that there is there to be a major one, so that gets more attention. So after all the negotiations back and forth, this exclave for this, well, rebel group, but just not a rebel group, actually, just provinces that want to break away, after that they decline the offer, sort of, by this mess. Then magenta. Magenta is a really neutral country. They are not for war at all, well, excluding the ones with their enemies, like dark red was really a war that they had to be in, so they could eliminate that enemy. But with reddish pink, their rebel group, they did not really want to fight that hard against their own people. Magenta is really soft, is sensitive, and they do allow the province to break away, as they don't see a loss when it happens. The same with gold, as gold is, well, of course also working on Greenland, and also a little bit on what's to be found right here, but they actually just let it slide for now, and they wanted to focus on Greenland. And that's why they contacted Sea Green and Grey for a three-way operation to see what this island is. But they know it's very dangerous with all that ice, so they hold it on for a moment. But anyways, back to the point. These two provinces are allowed to break away. The only country that doesn't really is happy with what is happening right here, well, other than pink, but we will talk about that later, is orange. Orange does not like parts that want to break away. They were like happy when brown got eliminated, sort of, and that they got provinces back here in the north, but they want to keep these two. Why? They had a close relationship with these two settlements from magenta, and now they are, well, harder to reach. And also, they are not really happy with the whole situation because of, well, the trade routes. It is not directly going through gold anymore. They are going through the new country if it will form. So orange, nah, is not really taking a part of it. But also pink is especially not happy with it, as they believe that if, well, they allow that part to break away, that this part will do the same. As they are, well, underdeveloped, but pink does support these two settlements. They are scared if this will break away, that will break away. But what they are up against, they are not really happy. They don't want to fight. They don't want people to rebel. So the king of pink is scared, but thus gives the sign to this rebel group and says, you are allowed to do whatever you want. Break away if you want, and if you need to let a fight happen, yeah, it's not really what I want. And with that, the country Indigo joins the world. And they are the first to not convert a major settlement into their capital, as there is a village, conveniently but also not, right on the trade route, right there. So their capital will be placed right there on the trade route. It's a really undeveloped town, but they believe if they use the trade route, that will work out to be in their favor, that they build up that province and especially that capital city. So right now a new country has popped up in the world, and now of course after a few years pass by without really things happening, we see of course these provinces wanting to break away. And pink was scared of that. They knew that it was coming up, they knew it, and they tried to support these settlements after this one broke away even more, but it didn't really help. And these two provinces are, with the settlements, are wanting to belong to dark pink instead of being on their own. And these three provinces, with a lot of little towns, want to belong to royal yellow. And without really negotiating, they just know that pink will allow it. And if they don't, well, what can pink do? It's an exclave. They have to allow it. Otherwise, maybe countries, maybe royal yellow will step in, or maybe dark pink. Maybe not, but that's just a guess that they are making for those to belong to the neighboring countries that they want to belong in. So it happened. Pink lost their exclave, their last exclave, by their unsuccessful, unprepared expedition with dark pink. Dark pink did grew, but pink did it, well, awfully, and they lost a land because of that, indirectly. But after that has happened, we see an interesting pact will follow, because Indigo joins this pact against, well, what? We all know that they formed this pact because of Neon Lime and breaking away and scared of being taken back by your, well, country that you are stemming from. And Indigo now joins this alliance in fear of being attacked by pink, gold, green, magenta or orange. They, well, got the message that they won't, but they are still scared of, well, that will happen. And these all little countries are the same. They don't want that to happen. So what they do is join a pact together. But that makes this little province interested in breaking away again. Well, yes, green made it happen. A town got built up to be a major one, and they are, well, provided with many supplies, but they still want to break away from the greens, as they are just not happy with the ruling of the king, or just they don't want to be a part of green anymore. And that province talks to the green king, it goes back and forth, and then the news spreads in neighboring, well, settlements, and it goes all the way back to here, that province really wants to break away, and the news spreads really far into neighboring countries. Pink, that then really wants to, well, claim it by their own, that can say to green, hey, we will take care of it. Indigo as well. But another country does reply. Dark Cyan replies. Their king replies. Remember that Lime is ruled by two kings. Dark Cyan is still there, but underruled by Lime. And Dark Cyan sees an opportunity to be their own nation again, without really being inside another country. But after many talks with the Dark Cyan King and the Green King saw an opportunity for Dark Cyan to, well, work again. They are with Lime, but it feels like that they don't want to be anymore. The plan, well, they don't really go further with Lime as they cannot really get in touch with Red. Red is just a power in the world that they scare off even now. Lime is even scared now because they are growing and they're not the small nation anymore that they were. So because of that, Lime just says, well, if you want to, Dark Cyan, go to a province there right in the north, up in the north, and be what you want. The people inside Lime are happy that still follow the Dark Cyan King that every time gets chosen. It isn't not really a nation that is forgotten, it's just Lime takes the name. And because of that, this province also gets a new nation, and they allow that Dark Cyan to rule them, as long as they are not really that aggressive, but well, we will see about that. And with that, we see the Dark Cyan country return. Not underruled by Lime. And Green just wants to give Dark Cyan a chance after being, well, underruled all these centuries. A province that's now, well, surrounded by another country. And I think the first time that really happened, because, well, Red still has access by the sea when they got surrounded by Dark Red. And so Dark Cyan returns and moved. Not everyone moved, because they still, well, believed in Lime too, and that just stayed. Their loyalty stayed with the Lime King instead of the Dark Cyan King, but those two civilizations mixed together and made, well, children together, and are now like this. A lot of countries are surprised that Lime even let them to split again, but it was time that that was going to happen, as two kings in one country doesn't really work forever. But at last, let's take a look at the World Destroyer Alliance, because Red and Lavender are preparing to do the following. Lavender of course helped Red to take a part in a war against Blue, and they annexed it completely. Now Lavender needs a favor, and just if it goes south, that they will help out, because, well, they want to annex Mint completely. They want to get rid of their enemy, so did Red. And after a lot of talking with each other, with months going by, because, well, they are pretty far away from each other, but they have found a route right here underneath the country's borders. They are using that right now. And they also are talking right here on Madagascar. Lavender is preparing for another war to completely get rid of Mint. They line up troops against the borders right there, right here. Even on the sea with boats they want to go over. And right here they are completely prepared for the invasion. These two powers in the world are just getting bigger, and no one is there to stop them.